a playlist original.
Hey, what's up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm joined by Haley and Amy from the Bachelor RHAPups from the RHAPups Podcast Network. I'm so happy that they joined me and we talk about lots of fun, juicy deets. And here's our origin story. I told this on their podcast when I recapped Clayton's an episode of Clayton's season, I think episode 3, but I wanted to tell it on my pod as well. So I'm a big Survivor fan, as y'all probably know, and I know that you are, to the majority of you aren't, so I don't talk about it too much on the podcast. Sometimes I dabble, I can't help myself, but I watched it with my family as a kid, and then when I went to high school and college or university, I guess I was too cool to watch Survivor. I was busy on Wednesday nights, I guess. But I kind of fell off of watching. And then I believe it was 2013, might have been 2012, when I watched Tyson win his blood versus water season, spoiler alert, and I was just reinvigorated. I loved him in his little tuxedo shirt, and so I was reinvested, started watching the seasons, and one day I was like, I need someone to talk to about this. So I just I think YouTubed Survivor episode recap or something like that, and a roundtable that Rob Cesternino, who played season 6 Amazon, and then the All-Stars season 8, I think. I'm not a Survivor Wikipedia. I'm not at Survivor Wiki, so pardon me if those are wrong, but he was hosting a roundtable with Jeff, and I think it was either Parv or Sandra, and then Jeff Probst and Stephen Fishbach, and I was immediately hooked. I needed more content, so I was like, okay, what the fuck is a podcast? I didn't even know what a podcast was at the time. So anyways, I looked up, I deleted the app. When you get a new iPhone and it just has all the Apple podcasts or the Apple apps, and you delete stocks, you delete fucking measuring tape or whatever that one is, you delete Compass. I had deleted Apple Podcasts. I needed the space for my photos and stuff, and so I re-downloaded it, searched Rob has a podcast, and the first thing that actually came up was or that had a new episode was the Bachelor RHAPups, Amy and Haley. So I swear to God, they were the first podcast I ever listened to many moons ago, literally probably 7 or 8 years ago, again, 2012, 2013. And I was like, oh, I watched The Bachelor. I have to listen to this podcast. So they really started my love of podcasting, and I really attribute a lot to them and to Rob for really getting me into podcasting, and look at me now. So yeah, they've spent fucking many a night with me. Now I have a problem where I can't fall asleep if I don't have a podcast going. And many bus rides, many walks, really literally everything. So I am so stoked to have them on the podcast, and I hope you really enjoyed the episode. One last thing that I'll plug before we get to the epi is I was on Vanessa's podcast, Best Week Ever. It was so much fun. We talked about so many pop culture stories, just kind of honestly, not even the super big headlines, but just kind of those innocuous ones, how Food God was hanging out with the Kardashians, or Paula Patton's chicken wing fiasco that I haven't covered on this pod. All stories I haven't covered on this pod, but it was super fun. We nominated celebrities for who was having the best week and who was having the worst week ever. So go check out that podcast. It was super fun. And Vanessa's going to be coming on RTBP in a few weeks, so you should get to know her before then. Okay, friends, let's get to the show. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Amy and Haley. I'm back with two very special guests. Haley and Amy from the Bachelor RHAPups are here. Haley, Amy, how are you?
I'm, and I don't want to undersell this, beyond thrilled to be here.
Literally, why?
Okay, first of all, I'm obsessed with you. Second of all, I love this idea of a podcast. Like, it's just a thrill to me. Three, I missed Amy as well. Like, I mean, we're in our podcasting off season technically. Did we do a podcast together last week? Yes, we did. But I can never get enough. So I'm overjoyed.
Yeah, I have to echo those sentiments. Like, it's really exciting to be on your podcast. It was so much fun when you came on our podcast. You've been loyal to us from way back when, and
literally.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. And yeah, I'm totally obsessed with you as well and love your podcast. So
you came on our podcast at Fangirl. Well, guess what? Guess what we're here to do? We're here to Fangirl.
Okay, I'm like literally okay. I'm like literally dying. Okay, like here's the thing, like not to get corny or cheesy on Maine, but like like you know when you're like so like down bad, but the depressed kind, not the horny kind.
I only get the first kind, almost never the second kind.
Oh fuck, same. About like your aspirations as a podcaster, and then stuff like this happens and you're like, oh my god, like I've made it.
Oh my god. Well, we're here to support whenever you need us. Whenever you're like having one of those down days, DM us in group chat, and we're here to like pump you up.
Okay, I love that. Thank you. I was on your podcast talking about Clayton's season. I'm not gonna lie, I think I watched one other episode and I just gave up on the
We gave up on it as well. We still
but
watched.
We couldn't. We had to watch.
But we gave up. Emotionally, we gave up.
I was talking to Haley right before this, and she was saying that you two have podcasted for 8 years about The Bachelor, and I'm like, literally, physically, spiritually, mentally, how?
I don't know.
Like, how?
Like, our love for each other is what keeps us going, and I'm pretty sure that's why, and that's it.
And a franchise that will not die.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And we're like we're committed. Like, we're like, we can't not.
I remember when we were starting the podcast, like I looked on iTunes and searched term Bachelor in the podcast field, and there were, I believe, 4 besides ours. Like, oh yeah, there aren't too many. Like, can you imagine that now? Like,
there's 400.
Like, who doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't have a Bachelor podcast?
There's like 4 people
nowadays.
in one season who each have a Bachelor podcast.
It's so funny, but there is endless content, and we're gonna get into that. But like, it is definitely the right fandom for a podcast.
I would have to agree. Yes.
If you could choose something else to podcast about, like outside of like reality TV, because you both do, guest on Rob Has a Podcast, what would you choose?
So my podcast, and the only reason I haven't started is because I'm supremely lazy and have like none of the technical skill whatsoever to run a podcast, is called Snack Chat, and I just talk about food. And I have people come on and talk about food with me, and I just only talk about food. Oh,
I was there in the Snapchat.
Yeah.
Days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my! What a throwback! When I was able to log into Snapchat.
That era when we all.
God.
Wow, that is. Oof. Oof, you have been with us a long time.
Yeah. I was fucking snapping you my Survivor treats for sure. Like being like, I hope she sees this. Like,
I forgot I did that.
Me too.
Wow.
Honestly.
Wow. What an
Honestly.
absolute throwback.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh my God. What about you, Amy? What would you podcast about?
I have a random fascination with celebrity baby names and like horrible baby name trends. So I probably would get into like that angle of just like, what's the worst baby name this week kind of thing.
I love that. We talk so much shit about baby names on this podcast. I'm like, I feel like I'm always coming for people that like can't defend themselves.
Like the babies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, I love that idea. That's very cool. Okay, before we like get into what we're gonna talk about today, I do have a fan submitted.
Is it a voicemail?
No, don't get excited yet.
Ooh, we got it on the
Just say
speak
it.
pipe. Another throwback. I was like, wow, speak pipe. Wow, I love this.
Hey, Torry, Haley, and Amy. It's Kirsten here. I'm calling in with a very important question. I'm currently ready to be petty because 3 of my friends are recording a podcast without me, and I'm extremely jealous. And I was just wondering if you all had any advice for me on how to deal with that. Okay, love you all. Bye.
My advice is I am equally jealous because Torry, you got to go on the Bridgerton podcast with Kirsten last week, and I am mad. I am mad. Nobody has reached out to me yet to be on that after I begged, after I pleaded. They all know it's my favorite of the Bridgerton series. I've read that book. I read it this afternoon. I read that whole book today again. I've read it probably 20 times. Nobody's called me yet to be on that podcast, and I'm big mad.
How dare they?
dare.
Oh my god.
I'm groveling on my
Yeah.
knees like Anthony Bridgerton at this point.
That was me the whole podcast calling him Anthony, and I'm like, people are gonna think I'm a fake fan.
Well, when I watched I had read a couple of, what did I do? I read the book and then I watched like part of series 1, and they're like Anthony. I was like, who the fuck is Anthony?
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Oh my god, the hottest like person alive.
Well, and the thing
Right
is,
now.
I texted Kirsten being like, ooh, Anthony is doing it for me this season. And she's like, I don't agree. I'm like,
All right, we got to put you on. These opposing views.
Yeah.
anyway.
Seriously.
So Kirsten, my advice is to invite me. That's all I've got.
Yes, yeah.
I'm just
We
thrilled
can do like
because
a 4-way pod.
yeah, I'm thrilled because now my 3 favorite Canadian accents have all made an appearance on this podcast.
Oh my gosh, do we have accents to you?
Okay,
Hey,
I
have
get
one too.
Kirsten and I get a lot that we sound alike.
Yeah. Yeah.
we do have a pretty similar cadence, I will admit.
Yeah, your cadence and your like authoritative, like hot takes. You come in with the strong takes.
I say
I feel
strong
like
takes.
that's- yeah. So
Yeah, we're here for.
I can see
here for
that. So we're gonna talk about like honestly, this was shaping up to be a bad, like a bad outline, but the like pop culture gods just like opened the heavens and just dropped like some delicious morsels. I was a little nervous. I'm nervous before every podcast because I'm like, the like story is kind of like we were gonna talk about Vanessa Hudgens wanting to speak with ghosts.
I'm
or
not gonna
speaking
lie to
with
you.
ghosts currently.
I was never gonna watch that clip. I just
I
like
watched
wasn't
that
gonna
clip.
do it. And that's why Amy and I work so well together.
I was just gonna say this is like the perfect yin and yang. Like that's just like the way things go.
That
But
clip made
I don't
me
know.
realize I don't think I've ever heard Vanessa Hudgens speak before. Like I totally miss like any of her content. Like I was not a High School Musical person, so I don't know what else she's done, but this is all I know.
honestly, nothing. I
Yeah.
feel like the things I know about her other than High School Musical was this, and when she like said COVID was gonna kill people,
And-
that was okay.
And that's
Oh,
fine.
yes.
People die.
That's inevitable. So that's literally the only 2 things I know about her. But, yeah, it's just weird that like the like Demi and Vanessa are both having these like I don't know not extraterrestrial, I guess like I don't know,
like
anyways,
supernatural
like
interactions.
experiences, and then I'm having to read it. I think that's the
Mm.
part that I
Mhm.
want to talk
You don't
about. is
have
just,
to
like-
read it. You can just go zoot and scroll right on by, which is what I do in content times like that. You know what? I don't want to mess with the ghosts or the aliens. I want them to just leave me be. I will leave them be. Like we can all just be peaceful together.
Totally. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So instead, we're going to talk about obviously Bachelor Nation news, Bennifer's engagement over this weekend, and then like the most exciting news ever, Britney Spears announced she's pregnant today.
Like an hour ago.
Yes, yeah, like literally mere moments ago. So you heard it here 7th by the time you're like, or like 100th by the time you're listening to this. And then we're gonna get into Pettyweight Champion of the Week and This Week in Petty. So you both watch and podcast about The Bachelor. Are you excited for like the 2 Bachelorette season that's coming up?
I'm excited for whom they chose.
Okay.
As long as they don't pit them against each other, I'm happy.
What about you, Amy?
Well, we know that they will put them against each other. That's
Yeah.
So it's like we're cautiously, but it's just like the way that they like a trailer that's gonna go, like expect it to go one way. Like they're saying they're not gonna do it, they will do it.
Yeah, how could they not if they're dating the same cast is what I'm confused about.
What a great question.
And also that because they're evil. So I don't know. There's these just two things in my mind that I'm like, these really great friends maybe don't end up as friends. Like, do you see them falling for like the same guy or pursuing the same guy?
They did before with Clayton, but he's such like a piece of paper that like you can just project your love onto.
Yeah. That's so fair. And it's so exciting though, because they're finally back to doing international travel. I guess they kind of did. They came to Canada last season, which is international for them.
Yeah, they're in Paris right now.
Yeah, I'm thrilled because this was like the component that, among others, that they're really missing from the show.
Yeah. And how often do we see a cast and there's like more than one guy that is appealing? So like they're definitely going to fall for the same.
Yeah. And like, again, when you're in Paris, like it's just inevitable. So I'm excited for you two to cover it because I'll be listening, but no guarantees that I'll be watching. I just I can't bring myself to do it.
We're gonna make you watch at least one again to come hang out with us.
We'll try to book you earlier.
I was just gonna say, if it's like premiere up to episode 3, like I'm all in. Okay, let's get into Bachelor Nation news because again, I actually fucking hate the TV show. I only like the drama that ensues like during and after. At Always Striving for Better asked thoughts on Colton already getting married. Is it PR or first love? So Colton Underwood, famed Bachelor, came out like in I don't know, like in the last year or two, and then was recently engaged.
Colton. I mixed Colton up with Clayton. I was like, did I miss something that Clayton and Susie got married? Like genuinely, that's what I was thinking. If you saw the put a GIF on the Instagram of me being like,
yeah, like who?
Like that's a real overcorrection from the scandal this weekend. Like
Colton, yeah. Colton, I just feel like he doesn't have modes in between on and off. And I feel like we saw that in his relationship with Cassie, how that played out on screen. And it feels like that's what's happening now. I wish him the best. I hope he doesn't stalk anyone else. But if he is happy, then a thrill.
He has talked about like, wanting to be accepted and being accepted in his faith. And I wonder if that maybe plays a role too, that, well, if I just, date one person and we get engaged and it's like a more wholesome way to be accepted with his, like in his faith, that he wants to kind of not rock the boat too much with his family and all that and his upbringing. I'm not sure, but yeah, again, if he's happy.
Yeah. That actually makes so much sense. I did not think of it from a faith standpoint. I was just like, it's too soon. Like, it's your first boyfriend. Like, chill out. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense of like growing up like that and just valuing marriage and maybe having like pressures from his family and stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's PR. I think they're in like a happy relationship, but yeah, it was like quick. At least quick for me. I don't know. Maybe
quick for me is I cannot like
breaking news.
Put myself in the situation in which I'm getting engaged to anyone within like the span of a year. I watched the first 2 episodes of The Ultimatum today, and they're like, we're 23 and we've been together for a year and a half, and I have put pressure on him that we are getting married. Like, I didn't even start dating until I was 23. You're like putting an ultimatum on marriage at this point. Like, girlies and boys, slow your roll. Like, no.
Literally, like you're not a person basically till you're 23. So like really chill out. Yeah.
Oh, like let's take some steps. Like let's take many steps. And maybe I'm just a bit of a slow roller. I didn't get my driver's license until my 20s. So like I just don't want to rush things. Also I don't want to date on television. So maybe that's the difference too.
Yeah, that's so fair. Yeah, I cannot wait to dig into The Ultimatum. I'm gonna recap it for the pod with Sophie from Unpaid Emotional Labor, and it looks juicy, but it also looks like I will want to bang my head against a wall. So I'm like, I kind of want to like prolong my peace.
Yeah.
No, you have to just get it over with. Honestly, and within the first 5 minutes, I was like, none of you people should be together. Like, that's just let me come on the show and talk to them and be like, you guys should not be together for these many reasons. Like, this is what you're looking for in a relationship, and that clashes with who you're with. So why don't you just go out? You're 23. It's fine. You have so much life to live. You're okay.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking from a 29-year-old, like, you have so much life to live.
So much life to live. And who needs a man anyway? Like, what's the point? I mean, honestly, I need help paying my mortgage, and I need
that's all Ethan's good for. Like.
Yeah. And a great health plan. Oh, I'm getting 2 pairs of glasses this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Speaking of not needing men, this girl proving the opposite. Kaitlyn was on a podcast. What is it called? The Men We Fucked or something like
Guys
that?
We Fucked,
What is
yeah.
it? Okay, The Guys We Fucked. Okay, iconic title. Like,
what a short podcast if I was hosting it.
Sometimes some of these like girls that are on like TikTok like literally exclusively talking about like sex and dating, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I couldn't create a persona around this.
I've said this on our podcast. Like, I don't even want to tell my parents if I end up like getting pregnant, because like I don't want them to know what I've been up to be in that state.
Just do a cryptic Instagram post. Like,
IVF, like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, like immaculate conception.
Well, I'm married.
Yeah. Fuck, I know. Sometimes I cringe at because I know my family members listen to this podcast, and yeah. But Kaitlyn Bristowe revealed on this podcast that she slept with Ben, Nick, and Sean. Which, like, we knew she had slept with Nick and Sean.
I don't know. I feel like we knew. We may not have been, like, confirmed coitus, but, like, we knew. Yeah. Wait, Amy, do you think...
Yes, go back!
Do you think whoever of us had Ben can get some retroactive points?
I know. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
yes.
They protected him so much. Like, it was not... Like, I remember that season, they were, like, questioning if he was like had ever had sex before in his life. So
and he was like, surprising. What did he say? Like, I can't remember.
I don't know. It was some like vague answer of like, well, like I don't know. I respect something. I don't know. The sanctity of marriage.
Marriage. Yeah. So, okay. So do you think, because it also like Kaitlyn has talked about over the past couple years that like Sean could not get over the Nick factor, but so do you think that he just didn't see Ben as, like, why didn't he care about her sleeping with Ben then?
I wonder if he knew.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He was at Ben's wedding, so he must have gotten over it eventually, if he knew.
I also just don't think he liked Nick.
Yeah. Or felt more threatened by him.
Yeah. Because I honestly was, like, low-key a Kaitlyn and Nick, like, fan. Which I, like, one of my worst takes in my life is being a Nick Viall fan.
Well, we were too.
Yeah, we like him.
Yes,
as much as we'd love not to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, I've hated him, and then like I'm like, oh no, this is actually like recorded that you like really didn't like him.
We're completely charmed by him. We can't help ourselves. Ugh.
Yeah.
But you were charmed by him when he looked like any other man with like a fucking sweater, and a haircut.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes,
we were day oneers.
Yeah. Oh God.
She also confirmed. Sleeping with Chris Soules, which I don't think we knew for sure either.
I don't think we knew either, but like honestly, get it. Like I feel like everyone's doing that. She's just the only one talking about it.
Yeah, I love how nonchalant she was about all these things.
Yeah. Do you think like any of it is like kind of like clout chasey? Like, oh, I'm not gonna be the co-host next season. Like, gotta stay relevant.
I didn't think so, but no, she's like always been pretty open.
I know she brought it up like when Clayton was going through his, the sleeping with the 2 women and admitting it. she was kind of throwing it back to kind of defending him, throwing it back to when she was on her season with Chris Soules and saying that she wouldn't have been upset if he slept with everyone. So I think it's more just kind of her like breaking free from like being slut shamed back then and being just open about everything.
Love it. Love a liberated woman. There's also some like, okay, I see this as a potential like budding romance. I did a poll on my Instagram stories and like literally no one agreed with me. So like I was like, okay, cool. But Tyler, Cameron, and Kristin Cavallari did a Uncommon James photo shoot. It was like country western like themed, and they were like spotted kissing on set like for the pictures, and I was like, oh, this could be like something more. What did you two make of these pictures?
They're a perfect couple.
Yeah,
like that makes
right?
sense to me. I'm like, yes, totally, absolutely, sew this up, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm so in. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, I would root for anything with the two of them. I think it makes sense, but it also makes sense as just a smart ad campaign. I think Tyler Cameron can have chemistry with anyone. I even watched The Real Dirty Dancing. That was proof of that. He sucked
Can
me
you
in.
please spoil that show for me?
Sure. Me too. He didn't win, right?
He didn't win. He was runner-up again with his partner, and what was her name? Angela. And then the winners were Kat Cora and Corbin Blue.
I literally didn't even know Corbin Blue was on that TV show.
Kat Cora, the Food Network TV show.
Yeah.
And then Corbin Blue. I actually watched a Hallmark movie recently with Corbin Blue in it, and he was by far the best part in that movie. It was
the one with Monique Coleman.
What a great question. I don't know. It was like a Bachelor themed movie.
Okay, no, I don't think so, because they did a Christmas movie together.
No, this one wasn't Christmas. It was like a reality dating show theme, and he was great in it. Actually, he was really good.
I feel like he's in his comeback era. He's gonna be in the next season of High School Musical, the musical, the series. He's booked and busy.
Good for him. Take Vanessa with you, buddy. She needs to get away from the ghosties.
She's fucking floundering, like literally. But yeah, I'm all for Tyler C and Kristin C dating. I feel like it's like she does have 3 kids, which I think is like, I don't think I don't know, is stepping into like a stepfather role, but like, I don't know, they're both insanely hot. I actually was like, should I buy something from it on commentary? It worked on me.
I don't know that exchange rate though. Actually, I don't know what the exchange rate is. I have no idea what it is right now.
I don't think it's
favorable.
Yeah, I don't think it ever will be again.
No.
So,
God,
like,
2008, eh, folks?
That was like, okay, the time that like we were on the Canadian dollar, for those who don't know what we're talking about, and the US dollar were on par, or the Canadian dollar was higher. That was like the best like 3 summers of
we would just go get gas like that. We would just be like going to get gas. That's it.
God. Oh my God. The back to school shopping that I did. I probably
Hollister,
bankrupted my parents. Yeah, when we didn't have like Abercrombie and Victoria's Secret, I went fucking nuts.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, still chasing the high.
Now I chase that high by going to Trader Joe's across the border.
Yeah, I crossed the border for the first time a few weeks ago for like in like 2 or 3 years, and I went nuts. But I basically only bought food, and I was like, this says
what I do too when I go to Canada.
Yeah, and just Amy stocks up on Smarties.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, what do you buy that's Canadian? Smarties.
Mm-hmm. The Kinder eggs that are illegal here.
Oh yeah. Nice. Ketchup chips.
All dressed chips. Yep.
Oh, I love all dressed. Okay.
Yeah.
Coffee crisp.
Sometimes. It's not my favorite, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even just the chocolate tastes different. So
yes, I think it's like lower.
We use like the British
fake
chocolate or something.
Yes.
The British version.
It's true. I'm always trying to push coffee crisps on people.
I love coffee crisp. I like the small ones though. I can't eat a whole one.
Yeah, same. Halloween time is perfect. Next in Bachelor Nation news, Tia Booth got engaged on stage at like one of the Bachelor Live events. I guess this is the type of people that go on The Bachelor. I could not imagine getting proposed to in front of anyone,
just anyone. Again.
Even the person?
Yeah, like I
proposing?
Yeah. Ethan sent me an email. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Also, they have not been together for
Not that long.
No, wasn't she just on fucking BIP?
Yeah, she was. So at least
Yeah.
I don't know. So like probably just after like June they got together. Again, a quick engagement
too, because now she's hosting Clickbait.
Oh yeah.
Which is like in Bachelor Nation. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like this is ill-advised, like for her fiance to like go this route, but like it gives them like a little more promotion. I don't know. So
no, I think that's so true. Like, I'm always dubious of couples in Bachelor Nation because you get better press. Nick Bukowski
Oh my
is dating Anna, whatever her name is.
Bully Anna.
Yes.
yeah.
And oh my gosh, he picked her up from the airport the other day in like a full like
I saw
it was
that.
like like limo driver costume, and I wanted to jump off a cliff, to be frank.
Amy sent me this and I truly nearly died. I was like, no, there's no way in the universe I'm living in that this is happening.
Yeah, just like the two despiest people in the world.
Because we covered him showing up on Andy's season.
We've covered him on all of his seasons. All 45. Except Emily. Oh my god, I forgot.
He predates us.
Oh my god, that's so
How
funny.
old
is
he?
He must be 40 now.
I will absolutely.
I think
he's only 35. He has lived so much life.
Was he 20 when he went on Emily's season?
Been.
He was like
Holy
the young one.
Shit.
Wow.
Oh my god.
No, Jeff Holmes was the young one.
Oh yeah, that's who she picked.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
What old is Anna? And I'm here to judge an age difference. I do not care. She's 25. Okay, it's not. It could be worse.
It could be, but still. But Tia's fiance is not part of Bachelor Nation.
No.
Yeah, I cared so little that in the episode show notes I just wrote his name as question mark.
Yeah, we will not learn that.
I have to confess, I haven't even told Haley this, but I attended the Bachelor live show. Not this particular one.
Stop.
Yes. It was the most like low budget thing.
Did you have to pay for new tickets or was it your old tickets?
No.
Oh my gosh. It was low budget. It looks high budget.
Well, it's very thrown together. It's like, imagine like an improv 101, but then with like a couple choreographed, like 2 ballet dancers in between like scenes. And then a cardboard limo off of the corner. Yeah, I saw Rick from Michelle's season, who has no stage presence whatsoever.
Oh no.
So like, speaking of petty, like I've been following along to see like what's happening on other shows, and like that fact that some people got to witness a proposal, or some people get like Justin or Andrew Spencer, who actually like participate and dance and do things. But like it was just like watching like random people be pulled up. And like, I don't know, it was just ridiculous. It was like, this was my first like thing that I've seen since pre-COVID because I had the tickets pre-COVID, and I was like, this is what I come back for. This is what I come back to real life for.
I'm blown away right now.
Oh my god, that is wild. Yeah, that sucks. Because I guess you just never know who you're gonna get.
Yeah, it was like, I guess they like picked 7 or so bachelors that will come for like 1 week, but I just thought they would put a little more effort into sort of training them to kind of all maybe do the same thing and kind of like engage back with like the audience members that are up there with them. But yeah, it made the women like do the lip sync battles or like question and answer. The hometown date was just like 4 people sitting on chairs, and Rick would walk up to one of them and say, "Can I steal you for a sec?" Which makes no sense with like a hometown date. And then they had like spin a wheel, and this is a movie scene you have to act out of, but it was totally pre-planned. Like it was a PowerPoint of a wheel spinning. So they just do the same one in every city. So it's like, you think it's random, but it's not. So they always do the Titanic scene, and they always do the When Harry Met Sally scene. And yeah, then they like do a lip sync to Grease like, with Becca. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, it's just so random.
And the ballet dancers? I'm so confused.
Sydney from Colton's season, and like some other dancer. Just sort of like interstitial, like as they're coming back from intermission, are dancing to like a tropical backdrop, and they show clips of Bachelor in Paradise, and then they have like this romantic scene. So I guess that's probably when Tia got proposed to, but like I would be so pissed if I got proposed to at this stage show. Oh, and Thomas showed up at ours and like carried Becca off at the end, but yeah, that was the only like guest appearance. So it's still a little bitter about it, but it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I would be seething. If I had to choose like the worst people in the world to do anything remotely improv, it would be Bachelor.
Yes.
Like that actually sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah. I would much rather watch just like an improvised Bachelor season done by people that are not Bachelor Nation.
Yeah. Like that as one of the like the scenes in like an improv show. Wild. Interesting. So that's hosted by Becca Kufrin. I've heard like really good things about her.
Yeah, because she did it before like pre-COVID and then got canceled like after a few dates. So she's at least had like all that experience going into it, and she does the whole thing. So yeah, no complaints about like her performance, but yeah, the fact that they just have a random like just pay somebody to be like the Bachelor the whole time or something, you know?
Yeah. So Rick, the premise is that Rick, who was this week's Bachelor, chooses, and is it random people in the audience and then they go on a date?
People that show up an hour early to the show and want to be on stage are the ones that are, yeah. But they don't have to be single or anything like that. So
they don't, what? Okay.
Yeah. Huh?
They can be married. They can be much older.
Oh, because they don't do anything afterwards.
No. It's like
oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it is really just like an improv. Like, yeah, no stakes.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm so out. I'm so like I feel like if I was on Shark Tank, I would be out at this first pitch.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember like for fantasy suites, they have 2 people left, and I think all they did was like they handed them like Hershey's Kisses. That was
This sounds like what I would do when I was like an RA and I would like plan events for my residents.
This is your fantasy suite. Wink wink.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is enlightening. Well,
yeah, so if anyone's on the fence,
get off of it. Get off the fence. Go back inside.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I'm literally speechless. I don't know what to say. Just because the thing is like it's like the probably highest earning television show like currently. So I'm just like I'm just shocked. I feel like they put a lot of money into most things. I guess maybe not their COVID seasons when they were like at the resorts and using like cardboard taxis, but usually it's like a high budget production. So, okay, let's move on to Clayton, the real Clayton, not Colton. So this was like the news of the weekend, but a TikToker, again, didn't write down her name. Apologies.
I think she is going to be fine. This burned hot. This burned hot and fast, and then it was gone.
And then it was so gone. So a TikToker was like, allegedly thought she had slept with Clayton.
Yeah, she was like, "Tea guys, I hooked up with a Bachelor contestant."
Obviously, it like blew up because TikToks about the Bachelor blow up, and then Clayton and Susie responded. He like showed proof of his like location. He was in Arizona. She was in California. This TikToker was in New York. There was like all these like Bachelor fan accounts like doing the fucking math of like time zones and like just doing all of the investigative work. And then today she came out with an apology video. She looped Reality Steven, like, of course. And now she's claiming that it was a catfish, it was somebody pretending to be Clayton.
Like, why? Pretend to be anyone. This is actually frightening.
Do you think that this actually happened? Like, do you think that a guy was like, oh, I'm going to use this line to like pick up chicks? Or do you actually think she made everything up from like point A to point Z?
I wonder if maybe he was a former Bachelor contestant and like said he was on The Bachelor and like she just inferred that it was Clayton. I don't know, man. That's what
she first said. That's what she first said. She was like, I don't watch the show, so I don't know who it. But I was like also like a mid-20s like woman. I'm like, even if you don't watch the show, I feel like you know the like major players.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like if it's true, like this guy was like, I'm clean, like that is so gross. And I'm like disgusted for her. And I feel so bad that she had to go through that and is like continuing to go through that. Ugh. Also, just as a general rule, I think you shouldn't fuck a guy you meet at a bar called Penny Farthing.
Yes.
Or a guy that
so fair.
opens asking like, if you watch The Bachelor, oh, I was on it.
Yeah, you just don't fuck that guy either.
Yeah. That's a good rule for the RHAPups community.
But did you believe it at first? Like if you just saw the
No, I didn't.
video?
I didn't.
Yeah, I was kind of like, didn't Dale basically do this to Claire?
Right.
So
it's not like
like when I first saw the video, I was like, honestly, I could see this, because if they like get together for the show but not like IRL, I'm like, yeah, you probably still want to date around. So I was like, okay. And then like as soon as there was like many holes in her story, I was like, okay, this didn't happen. And then I was like, okay, now I feel bad for you if you actually were like duped and thought this was fun. More likely she like made it up, but like I'm just like, maybe you did get duped. I don't know.
But I guess she had other TikToks where she's talking about like breaking up an athlete's marriage and being kind of vague and some other things like that. So was that just like part of her content and then this one just blew up?
Yikes.
Yeah, that's a good cue. Yeah, there was like many posts of her being like, I should go on The Bachelor, or like Us Weekly's calling me now because like of this TikTok. So it's like, it's just really, really hard to tell. But Ash Talks Batch, you should have her on the podcast, by the way. She is a Bachelor commentator and she runs a Substack, and she sent out a newsletter today just talking about like how toxic and how just like how fucked up this is, and how a lot of these Bachelor contestants and other like low-level reality stars don't have like necessarily the protection of like a whole management team to like kind of shield you from these like accusations. And I was like, yeah, this is probably like a pretty shitty weekend for him and Susie.
Yeah, I'm glad that they can like stand beside each other in this though. You know, I like that Susie was like had his back, at least publicly.
Yeah. You think like everything's good with Susie and Clayton?
I do, because like she was like, I was FaceTiming him, like I know he was in Arizona. This is wild. What a wild situation.
Do you think that it was best for them to reply, or should they have just left it at what it was?
Like, do you think they should have defended themselves? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think because it was so easy. I think it could have blown up, especially because Clayton kind of left his season with like not the most favorable public impression, that I feel like if they just let this go, it would have really like done some damage, I think. And the way that he was able to like very quickly be like, nope, and here's my proof, it just like shut it all down. So I do think they made the right move.
Yeah, I agree, because I think if you just glance at the headline and knowing how Clayton's season ended with just all that controversy, that people just see that headline and just believe it, you know, without digging deeper. So yes, me too. Like, so if you respond, yeah, it draws more attention to the story and to that person. But you know, if it's true that someone is impersonating him to get laid, then you know, at least illuminates that she wasn't, you know, she didn't have malicious intent, and that they could sort of investigate it further. I mean, if you're not even in that same city and nowhere near it, it's pretty easy to show proof. But you could see this like someone else targeting someone by like knowing where they are, because you can tell where Bachelor people are traveling. So like maybe it will give someone else an idea to do something nefarious about, you know, cheating claims. So it is kind of scary that they aren't they don't have any level of protection from these kind of things.
Well, Clayton and Susie, all the best to both of you. In other relationship news, hard pivot out of the Bachelor content, Ben and Jen are engaged. Are we surprised?
I don't know if I'm surprised as like I can't believe it. And I know that sounds the same.
Yeah,
but
elaborate.
it seems like we're again living in such a time warp, and it's like a perfect rom-com of them like coming back together. And it's like, I don't know, like, is that public, like, or like PR? Like, I don't know what this is, and I hope it's love, and I hope they're doing well, and I hope Jennifer Garner is doing well.
Oh yeah, really. I'm such a Jen Garner fan, so kind of devastating news on that front. But I think once the nostalgia wore off, I was really like, oh, is this just like PR? Because I was just so thrilled when they first announced that they were back together, or like we saw the pictures that they were back together. But can we say that it's official now, or do you think that it's just kind of like one of those like PR like relationships?
Sorry, like I think JLo does a lot of PR engagements. Like I do.
Yeah.
What is this, like fifth marriage or fifth engagement?
Six.
Okay, so yeah. Like, why? You're both rich. You don't need to get married. Like, why can't you just be together? You know. So it does seem like, okay, you had to go to her website, which I did not know there was on the JLo.com. I could not read it. I didn't want to enter my email, so that's as far as I got.
Yes, yeah, literally. So she posts a video about the engagement on her website, which I was like, I didn't even think that celebrities still did like paywalled websites. Like I was like, this is really like 2007. Yeah. So the video dropped on her website. So I was like, that also is like, can nothing be sacred? I'm such a fucking hypocrite because it's like this podcast is literally all about celebrity and gossip that I'm like, can't something be private? I don't know. It just seems so, I don't know, so fake.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I kind of have to agree with you. I'm usually like not a cynic about it. I usually just kind of take everything at face value, but it's hard to take this one at face value.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of comparisons to Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas being like a PR relationship.
I still love them.
I'm such a cynic. I was like, yeah, like just it accidentally like just turned into a baby and marriage, which is really ugly for me to think. I'm definitely too far down the like everything's fake rabbit hole recently.
I feel like because you do this podcast and you have to look at everything so critically, like that's why it's kind of the same with us with The Bachelor, right? Like we can see these like scenes and be like, okay, like I know that this and this. We're like, Ethan will still watch it and be like, oh my God, this. I'm like, babe,
Totally. Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, the more I look into like blind items and just
I hate blind items. Just tell me names. Just why are we beating around the bush? I won't read them. Because I'm like, I need the I just need you to tell me the gossip.
But you're a Bridgerton fan. That's like the plot, like catalyst or whatever. Lady Whistledown.
Why do you think I read them all so quickly, my dear friend? I need to know everything.
This is gonna sound shady, but to all my friends like that are listening, but I went to Mexico in November for a wedding, and when I got back my mom was like, what's the tea? And I was like, I'll send it to you all in blind item form. So I made her guess everything.
That is hilarious.
It was fun. I did save them in my notes, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll use them for something some other day. But yeah, I made her guess everything. Do we think they'll make it down the aisle? Last time they were engaged, they didn't. You're shaking your head, Haley. Wild. Okay. Yeah.
What's the point? You're right. Like, what is the point?
Why not just reenact everything from the first time around and it just will be called off?
But do you think it's like JLo, then this would be your sixth broken engagement? Like, isn't that embarrassing? Like,
I would just give up at that point. Not in love, just like yeah, Amy, you're right. Like, just be together. Like, just who cares? Marriage is a sham anyway. Like, what's the point?
Says the one
the married one.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I guess, yeah, sure, I'm married, but it's like, what's the point? We both say that. We're like, what's the point?
I love it. Okay, let's talk about the ring for a sec.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh my God,
I forgot to look. Okay, give me one moment.
Okay, I'm excited for this reaction because I think it's wild.
Her lucky color. Okay, so this can only be good.
Yeah, lucky. That's a big hint.
I could get that at Claire's. I was hoping for like this beautiful, like deep emerald, but that is not.
That's like a peridot. My birthstone is peridot, and like I fucking hate it. And so this was just like, oh, okay, she's a Virgo girly, I guess. I have no idea.
But I read like it was like some kind of green diamond or something.
Yeah, it is a diamond, and it's I guess a natural green color. That's why it's so expensive. So it's 8.5 carats, and it's set with white diamonds on the band, kind of like her first one from Ben that was pink. It is possibly valued at $10 million.
I wouldn't pay 10 for that.
It does look like those large like costume jewelry that you'd see at like a department store, like the cubic zirconia on either end. And yeah, this is like just a big gaudy ring.
Yeah, I feel like with her one from A-Rod and like with Kim Kardashian's ring from Kanye and stuff, in pictures you could still see like the clarity and like it looked expensive. I feel like this one doesn't look expensive.
I hate really big engagement rings. They're just not for me.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I feel like I cut my face all the time.
Yes, like, oh my God, I would just be so nervous with anything over like $100 on my hand, like, to be honest.
I told Ethan, I was like, do not spend money. Don't spend like a lot of money on this thing. I actually, yeah, I don't have a diamond. I have a sapphire. It is my birthstone.
Oh, that's pretty.
But it's not this color, so wow. And it's not that tacky. I don't think it's tacky anyway. Maybe other people do. Don't tell me. So like I love a gemstone ring. Love it. But this ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, her first one from Ben was pink. So there's kind of a, I don't know, or colored.
I like the pink one better.
What happened to the pink one? Where did that go? Who owns it now?
I think it's in the Museum of Broken Hearts. Remember that LA installation?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, did she give it back? It was valued at $2.5 million, so I'm sure she had to give it back. Or maybe it's just like because they're so rich.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I don't know. Just a personal, my first reaction to this was, other than hate, was like when, like I said, my birthstone is peridot or whatever, which this reminds me of. And when I used to go to the dentist as a kid, you got to pick out a toy at the end. And so you could pick like a squishy hand or like, you know, those like, yes, those things. Or you could pick a ring. And I would always pick the green ring, and it's like same but diff. Honestly.
Yeah, it's not my favorite one I've ever seen.
Also, the whole like lucky color thing. There was something about like, oh, I was always wearing this color when good things happened to me. Isn't that just liking that color for yourself?
Yeah.
So that's the gown you pick out.
Also, I was like, when we literally have millions of pictures of you, and I've never seen you.
Maybe like
color.
the Versace dress, like just like tiny little pieces of it. It's like a feature color.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, same. Like, honestly, same. I recently listened to the Beyond the Binds episode about Ben Affleck, and so now I'm like a hater, but I'm all like, I feel like Jennifer Lopez is also kind of like sus at some times. So I'm like, maybe they just deserve each other.
Yeah, I'm happy for them, and I'll continue to be happy for them as long as their PR relationship lasts.
Yeah, I like the content. I do. I'm a sucker. I'm a fucking sucker for this shit. I don't know this is more exciting news. I guess so. Again, it's just like living in the heyday of the early 2000s. But Britney Spears announced today that she's pregnant.
Wild. Great for her. Like, that's what she wanted. And I'm happy that she's able to live her life the way she wants to finally.
Same. Oh my gosh. I'm so thrilled. At December Swan was the first person to break it to me when I put a question box up on my Instagram stories. So thank you. Like shortly after, Sam and Britney both like wrote Instagram captions kind of talking about how they found out, and then Sam about being a dad, and it was just really cute.
Oh, I didn't see what he posted.
It was just something about like, oh, I will be taking fatherhood like super seriously, and like, I don't know, this rule is like really important to me or something like that.
Did she break news that they got married too, or were they married?
They're engaged.
I think she's just one of those girlies who calls like her partner like husband, even though they're not like legally married.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely engaged, and because I remember, I think it's Versace that's doing her dress, and Donatella and Britney posted a picture together a few weeks ago about like a dress fitting or whatever. So it's definitely happening.
Yeah, I'm excited for her, because weren't they like forcing her to take birth control before?
She had a forced IUD.
Oh my God.
Which is
yeah,
just horrific.
Yeah.
So horrific. I think that was like a big part of her trial that really like struck a chord with people, that she had an IUD implanted without her consent and couldn't get it removed, even though she wanted to have kids with her like long-term boyfriend. So glad that, you know, she has those rights back. And a lot of people slid into my DMs today being like, seems really soon, like this all just happened and stuff. And I get that. As I was just saying, like, I was like, Colton also just came out and stuff. So I guess a few things can be true at the same time. But I feel like when you are like, so like waiting for so long for, you know, circumstances to change, in this case, her conservatorship, I feel like
she's had a lot of time. Yeah, she's had a lot of time to reflect on what it is that she is looking for.
Yes, like I feel like when your ideas and rights and like aspirations are withheld from you, they're so clear. And yeah, I don't feel like this is rushed at all. I just feel like this is a person living her life.
Yeah, and they've been together for quite some time, right?
Yeah, several years, I think.
Yeah, so
yeah,
you know, that's what they wanted. So great. I'm thrilled for them.
Yeah, couldn't be happier. I think that this is a blessing. I hope she gets, apparently she's always wanted to be a girl mom, and she has 2 boys. So I hope that it's a girl for her. Anything else we want to say about our Lord and Savior, Britney Spears? Okay, let's move on to Pettyweight Champion of the Week. Amy, you wanted to nominate someone this week, right?
Yes. Well, it's just a more lighthearted earlier in the week story about Clayton. There were 3 disgruntled viewers who did a coordinated effort to record their farts and send them to Clayton.
Oh, yes! I had no idea where you were going with this until right now.
The first time I read
and so
this,
he
God,
shared
it made
the
me
DMs that he
cry.
got, and I just thought, like, that is the ultimate petty. Like, maybe it was just one person and had 3 different farts, but I think it was 3 friends. That's how they chose to make their opinions known.
Like, it's not great, but it's like fairly harmless, and
Right.
I feel like Clayton probably was like, this is quite funny.
Yeah, I feel like this type of humor is like right up his alley, and like, fuck.
It's original.
So funny. Yeah, it definitely is. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was famous, and then this story comes out, and I'm like, I'm so fucking happy I'm anonymous. Holy shit. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, it seemed to be like sent in all like fun and games and like in jest, but I think it's so funny that he, like, they probably were like, you know, when you like drunk tweet a celebrity or whatever, and they're like, he's never gonna see this or whatever,
Right?
And then,
Or it's like a
the
truth or
fact
dare.
that yes. I feel like I see that on TikTok all the time. Like, this is my conversation with like Harry Styles, and it's just like absolutely one-sided. So I love that he shared that with all of his his followers.
So I guess we see
I
like
feel
the
like-
two sides of what can happen with a little bit of reality TV fame.
Oh my god, that's such a good point. And I feel like also it's like, oh, where was this personality like during the season? And I'm like, oh, this is like fun. Yeah, I feel like him and Susie have had a really great entrance into social media. I guess I'll link the article in the episode show notes if you want to take a listen to that. Let's move on to This Week in Petty. Haley, what are you petty about this week?
This is not just what I'm petty this week, but kind of in life. I very much love my partner. He's great. He's fantastic. One thing he does that makes me want to bash my head into a wall. I'm like,
I like how you're like whispering.
I know.
he could like hear you at any moment.
is that when the dishwasher is empty, he'll like leave his dishes on the counter, and it makes me so angry. So I'll just be like, are you still using this plate? And like it'll be like a plate that he used like 2 days ago. I'm like, you're still using this? Or he's like, no, I'm done. I'm like, oh, weird, because it was on the counter. Weird. And it's passive aggressive, and I should not do it, but I cannot stop myself.
I treat every situation with a little bit of
And I
passive
was like,
aggressiveness.
are you still using that? Oh, are you? Oh, are you still eating it? Oh, are you done all your oatmeal? Because the box is still in there, but I don't see any packages in it, so I'm not sure what's going on. That's my life in petty.
I love that. I just resonate a lot with that because of my time as an RA. I'm like, do I need to draft a roommate agreement?
I am the RA of this household. One time, and I was an RA in university, and the 1 year I was the RA of this floor, and it was the only floor like this in the entire university. It was just like everybody had their own single rooms, and it was like kind of like the mature residence or whatever. And we had our own laundry room on our floor. And this one guy lived right beside the laundry room. He started to get to a point where he was too lazy to like bring his laundry into his own room. So he used the laundry room as his closet.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could say that I was like surprised or even mortified at that, but that's just like that makes sense to me.
And like I would tell him like, you can't leave that there, and he'd be like, what am I gonna do? I'm fucking like 19 and a half. Like what, I'm gonna yell at this kid? No, I don't get paid enough for that,
honestly. Oh my god.
The one day I came out of my room and the whole hallway was just lined with Cheerios. I just closed my door. I'm like, no, not today. I'm not dealing with this. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. I feel like I should do just an episode on.
That's what we need to do. Me, you, and Kirsten need to do an RA episode.
Kirsten was an RA?
Yeah.
Okay, no way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, okay.
So write that down.
Yeah. Kirsten, if you're still listening. Yeah, okay. And I've got many a friend from President's Life that I feel like would want to weigh in.
Yeah.
Love this for us. Yeah, that is frustrating about the dishes thing. Men.
My equivalent would be, although I don't have a good comment, maybe you guys can help me. I don't have a good passive aggressive comments that I've started with this, but I was like so proud of myself for organizing the bathroom closet and spent like a shit ton of money at Target of like Joanna Gaines, Magnolia, Hearth and Hand, like organizer baskets.
I'm so
like,
jealous.
For towels. And then I had to find the right size and return different ones. And then I have one that's designated for the surplus of toilet paper when we get our like Amazon order. And like if we get a new Amazon order, my boyfriend will just like shove the extra ones that don't fit in the basket in front. And I get so mad. I get so angry.
You're like, what do you think the basket's for?
Yeah. Like maybe I don't have a designated space for like if there's like 3 extra ones, but I just want them to fit in there. And if there's 3 extra ones, like I would just put them down below or something. Like just think of something else. They do
just
not
hide them.
Get shoved in front. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I completely agree with you. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I don't understand how that isn't common sense.
It doesn't cross their minds. Like it doesn't.
I feel like that's so mean. Okay, so what's our rebuttal to this? Like,
I would put them under his pillow.
Yeah, I feel like Amy, you're like the least passive aggressive person.
Yeah, like not with people in like my day-to-day life, you know, like if at work I can be, but
yeah, I'm like, talk shit about your coworkers. Like, come on.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would be mad too. I'd be like, oh, do you need me to go buy it? Can I borrow $20 so I can buy another basket? Because obviously, like,
right.
You're thinking that there's not enough space in the one I have.
Yeah, or like take a picture of what it should look
Oh,
like.
that's
good. Just like be like, this is what I expect of you.
I have to see the little label that says Hearth and Hand in the front. Like, when I
like you
it.
paid for that label.
Yeah, you paid fucking probably $30 for a fucking basket. Like, you want to get your full use out of it.
Mm-hmm. This is all we have in like the quarantine days. It's like towel organization. Bathroom closets, like the pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you two watch The Home Edit?
No,
I haven't yet.
On Netflix?
I've looked.
Okay.
I read the book.
Oh, okay. If you like organizing bathrooms with baskets, you should watch.
I do love organizing.
Yeah, you should definitely watch this Netflix special. It's cute. It's like background television for sure, but just like gorgeous, you know, storage rooms, garages.
But then I get
etc.
jealous that I don't have a great pantry. Like mine's just a gross little
Same.
closet.
Same. Okay, yeah, that is true. Yeah, you have to be in a very particular state of mind. Because I'm like, who owns like 6 like spray cleanser things to make this look good? Like nobody.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's this one person on TikTok I love, and she just watches other people's refill videos and like comments on them.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, that's not full. That's not full.
Yeah,
I love her.
Yeah, that would be like a fun. I don't think you could do a full podcast, maybe like a YouTube series or something, but ranking and like judging celebrity closets, I feel like would be really fun.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Someone steal that idea and I'll watch. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much, you two, for coming on.
This was great. I loved it so much, and I can't wait to be invited back. I'm just gonna shoot my shot.
Stop! You don't need to shoot your shots. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, where can the listeners find your podcast and anything else you two want to plug?
So it's called The Bachelorette RHAPups. So that's spelled RHAP. For anyone that's not familiar with Rob Has a Podcast, it's an offshoot of Rob Has a Podcast. So I believe it's robhasapodcast.com/batch or batchcast, something like that. But it's a
Bachelor. Just
anywhere
Google
you can get your podcast. Just search for
just Google
Bachelor,
RHAP Bachelor.
RHAP.
It will come up. Yeah.
And what about your social handles?
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @strong_. If you like pictures of snacks, my Instagram is a real hit. And if you want to check out what I'm reading, gosh, I have a bookstagram at the Strong Library. I also talk about Top Chef on the RHAPups Network. And then if you like movies, Amy and I did a podcast last week called The Movie Ladder, where we talked about Mamma Mia, the 2008 cinematic hit.
Love. Okay, thanks you two for coming on.
Thanks for having us. This was fantastic. I loved it. I loved every second.
And there you have it. Thank you so much to Amy and Haley for joining me on today's pod, and thank you so much for listening. There's like 2 things I like kind of want to amend, and then let's wrap her up. But I feel like I was just thinking about Pete Davidson's bipolar disorder diagnosis, to be honest. And I know I don't want to like speculate on anyone's like mental health. I think that he's doing well. It seems like he's doing well. And he's been very candid about his mental health, and I appreciate that because that breaks down the stigma that we have around it. But I was just kind of thinking that not contributing, again, some of these impulses to BPD at all, but I just, for me, I think it just gave me a little bit of context thinking about, you know, his branding and his tattoos. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. Like, maybe that's problematic. I love a sounding board, but that was just something that I was thinking about. Not saying that he was like manic or anything when he did this, but I was just thinking about like how some of those kind of impulsive behaviors can manifest. And I think I was a little bit judgmental, to be honest. I still don't think it's like a great idea, but that just helped kind of set some of the context up for me as I was thinking about him recently. And then the other thing is Morgan, my last episode guest, we talked about one of her listeners fantasizing about a bus driver. I also thought I was like super judgmental. I didn't mean to judge like in the fact that it's like you shouldn't fantasize about random people during your day to like get you through it. It's fucking hard out here. I totally get it. Like I once had a bit with my some of my friends know this, but a bit with my like deli man where we would like just pretend we were in Italy and he would like throw on an Italian accent and like as he was like cutting my like Kodo ham. So I fucking get it. Whatever you need to do to just live and exist and hopefully thrive, I totally get it. But I just thought it was random because it's really early in the morning and like I said, I don't know any hot bus drivers, but like to each their own and like get it, girl. There's so many people shaming women for having like overt sexuality and like I did not intend to do that if it came off that way at all. And I threw up something on my stories about, I don't know, just random people that have floated through your mind. And I've gotten some funny ones like my acupuncturist, and literally that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm like kind of feel like I'm put on the spot, but just to like normalize that. So I don't know. I was just, you know, when you put something out and then you just like think about all of the annoying and like worst things that you've ever said in your entire life. I kind of felt like that about this bus driver sitch. So girl, get it. Whatever you want to do is great is basically what I want to say. Yeah, if it's not harmful to anybody, like fucking fill your boots, eh? So that is all from me. If you want to suggest a topic or question for the podcast, you can message me on socials. I'm at RTBP Podcast, and you can also leave a voice recording that I'll include in a future episode on speakpipe.com/readytobepetty. Make sure you leave your name so we can properly thank you. And if you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend, leave a 5-star rating or review. It helps the pod find new listeners so we can build the RTBP community and keep this discourse alive. Okay, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.